Incorrect input source. Think of the input source as the railway switch of a computer display or projector. A monitor can be receiving perfect power, and the computer can be outputting a flawless video signal, but if the internal switch is pointing to an empty track, the user is going to be staring at a blank screen. For the CompTIA A+ exam, troubleshooting an incorrect input source is one of the most common and, thankfully, easiest help desk tickets you will resolve. As a technician, you must know how to quickly identify this issue, navigate the hardware menus, and understand how laptops route their video signals. Part 1. The symptoms of a switched source. When a user calls to complain that their computer is broken because the screen is black, you must first rule out a dead monitor. The no signal box. If the monitor is turned on, the backlight is glowing, and a box is floating around the screen saying no signal, check video cable, or entering power save, the monitor is physically fine. It is simply listening to the wrong port. The wrong device. In conference rooms, it is incredibly common for a user to plug their laptop into a projector, only to see the company's Apple TV or digital signage on the screen instead. The projector is working, but it is locked onto the wrong channel. Part 2. The hardware fix, the OSD menu. Modern monitors and projectors are essentially multi-port hubs. A single monitor might have a DisplayPort, 2 HDMI ports, and a legacy VGA port. While many monitors feature Auto Detect to automatically switch to the port receiving a signal, this feature often fails or gets confused if multiple cables are plugged in. Navigating the on-screen display, OSD. As a technician, your first physical step is to use the buttons on the front, bottom, or back of the monitor to open the OSD. You must manually select the input or source menu and cycle through the list, e.g., HDMI 1, HDMI 2 DisplayPort, until the image appears. Projector quirks. Projectors almost always have a dedicated source or search button right on the top chassis or on the remote control. Pressing it forces the projector to cycle through every physical port until it finds a live video feed. Part 3. The software fix, the display toggle. Sometimes the monitor is set to the correct input, like HDMI 1, and the cable is securely plugged in, but the screen is still black. In this scenario, the issue is not the monitor. It is the computer failing to send the signal out of the port. This is exceptionally common with laptops connecting to projectors or external displays. You must force the operating system to push the video out. 1. The hardware toggle, FN keys. Almost all laptops have a secondary function mapped to the F keys at the top of the keyboard, usually F4, F7, or F8, marked with a little icon of 2 monitors. Holding the FN key and pressing that specific F key cycles through the hardware display modes. 2. The Windows presentation mode. In Windows, you can quickly bring up the projection menu by pressing the Windows key plus P. This flyout menu gives the user 4 options. PC screen only. The video port is turned off. This is usually the culprit for a no signal error on a connected projector. Duplicate. The exact same image shows on the laptop and the projector. Extend. The projector acts as a second, separate desktop space. Second screen only. The laptop screen turns black and the projector does all the work. Part 4. Adapters and the active problem. If you have verified the OSD is on the correct input and Windows is set to duplicate, but you still have no image, you must look at the cable chain. Users frequently use dongles or adapters to plug modern laptops into older displays, e.g., USB-C to HDMI or DisplayPort to VGA. Directionality. Many adapters only work in one direction. A DisplayPort to HDMI cable will not work if you plug the HDMI end into the computer and the DisplayPort end into the monitor. Active versus passive. If converting a digital signal, HDMI, to an analog signal, VGA, a simple cheap cable will not work. The user needs an active adapter that contains a tiny processor to translate the digital ones and zeros into analog waveforms. If this adapter fails, the monitor will show no signal regardless of the input setting. Summary for the professional technician. To lock this in for your exam troubleshooting steps. Symptoms: no signal or check cable means the monitor has power but no data. The input source is the primary suspect. Monitor side: use the physical buttons to access the OSD and manually change the input source to match the physical cable. Computer side: use Windows plus P or the laptop's FN plus F keys to ensure the operating system is actually routing video out of the port. Cable chain: verify that any adapters being used are directional and properly converting the signal.